Let's dive into this question. Who really cares about whether Mayor Henyard's departure is going to add more debt to Dalton? Let's shift the focus and talk about what Bert O'Don, a sharp attorney with deep knowledge of Dalton, says about Tiffany Henyard's chances of winning the mayoral election in Dalton. We've got the Democrat primary coming up on February 27th, with the general election set for April 1st. What does the expert, the most knowledgeable attorney in town, have to say? Let's find out. We're about to listen to a radio interview, and honestly, I get way more from these interviews than most of the other stuff that gets thrown out there by YouTubers. There's so much gossip and back and forth that doesn't really matter. You have to sift through all that noise to get to the important stuff. And when Bert speaks, it's like, all right, this is it. Bert's been an attorney for years. He started his law firm back in 1972, and he's got no reason to mislead anyone. His focus is on representing the village of Dalton, and beyond that, his perspective is as clear as it gets. So let's rewind the interview and get into the details. Listen up, this is important. They've been in court dealing with injunctions against Mayor Henyard for her actions. Instead of actually running the government, she's been acting like the Queen of Dalton, and things have been a mess. Yesterday, they were back in court again for yet another lawsuit against her. This one's worth millions, and it's because she's refused to issue liquor licenses for a beautiful new $6 million building off Route 57. The owners can't open their doors because Henyard won't approve the liquor licenses, even though they've already been paid for and approved. It's a huge waste of money and time. And then there's the insurance situation. Meetings are supposed to be happening because we still have policies that have lapsed. That's a serious issue. Without the right insurance, senior transportation and other services could be in trouble. If my insurance lapsed, I'd be freaking out. But what does Henyard say? She's acknowledged that the insurance has lapsed, and on top of that, she canceled senior transportation. But here's the kicker: the other day, she had her own event. Guess which buses she used to get people there? That's right, the senior buses. And that's a problem, because those buses don't have insurance right now. If one of those buses crashes, guess who's footing the bill? Yep, the taxpayers of Dalton. Now, here's the real kicker: Tiffany Henyard is playing a dangerous game. She's trying to keep her small group of constituents happy by offering services like transportation, but she's rolling the dice. If those buses crash, Dalton's financial future is at risk. That's why you have insurance, to protect against these kinds of disasters. But right now, Henyard is taking a huge gamble. Tiffany Henyard's still throwing events, but let's be real, her big bingo event barely drew any crowds. Very few people showed up. Sure, she's still trying to win over a few of her remaining supporters with giveaways, but the reality is, the majority of the people in Dalton can't wait until February 27th to cast their vote and get her out of office. That's the date for the Democratic primary, and then April 1st is when the general election takes place. Once that happens, she's done. Now, the prediction is clear. Bert O'Don, with his insider knowledge, says that Henyard has no chance. It's obvious. The vast majority of people in Dalton are fed up and can't wait to see her go. They're counting down the days until they get to vote her out. But Henyard, she's doing everything she can to cling to power. I'll give her credit, she's fighting like it's the final 2 minutes of a basketball game, and she's down by 30 points. But let's be real, this is a basketball game, not football, so the clock's ticking fast. Bert O'Don breaks it down: she's hanging on by a thread. Look at the Democrat convention or caucus, or whatever it was, in Thornton Township. She had maybe a couple hundred supporters. That's who's going to vote for her. She might squeeze out 100 or 2 more votes, but it's not going to be enough to win the mayoral race. The prediction is clear: she's not winning. It's going to be a landslide, and I mean a landslide. No ifs, no maybes. The people of Dalton are done with her, and it's not going to be close. There's no need for all this speculation about which states will swing or how it'll all come down. It's just over. Bert Odon is pretty adamant about it, and at this point, even Henyard knows she's done. She's just running out the clock. But in the meantime, let's take a look at some of the other messes she's involved in. For example, Tiffany Henyard recently sued two Thornton Township trustees, Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle, over their meeting absences. According to the Chicago Tribune, she filed a mandamus complaint to try and force them to attend the township board meetings. She wants the Cook County Circuit Court to order them to show up and participate. And then, just this Monday, there was a high-stakes Thornton Township meeting that ended in chaos. It blindsided Henyard, who actually had to call the police. So, let's go ahead and watch that video. This whole situation ties into that lawsuit she filed. And as we dig deeper, you'll see how everything is connected. It's all cause and effect. Here's the footage from that meeting, where business like approving the budget and critical tax levy ordinances was supposed to take place. The board meeting in Thornton Township was supposed to be a turning point, but instead it ended in chaos before it even really began. Frustrated residents were left shaking their heads as they watched the meeting dissolve into nothing. The meeting was over before it started. "Get out, don't walk up on me, get out," Henyard called out, and with that the meeting was adjourned. This marks the first time in a long while that the Board of Trustees actually had a quorum, with trustees Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle showing up. These two had been skipping meetings to block Supervisor Tiffany Henyard from filling a vacant trustee position. Last week, Henyard went to court, trying to force the trustees to attend the meetings, citing the severe disruption of township services due to the standoff. She wanted to bring some order back. "We're not going to be bullied, we're doing what's right," said Gonzalez, but that was just wishful thinking. After the Pledge of Allegiance and opening prayer, the meeting was interrupted by Carlisle, who abruptly ended it. Motion made, motion seconded, and just like that, it was done. The meeting was over, just like that, blindsiding Henyard. And this all comes just a week before a special meeting where residents will vote for a new trustee to fill that vacant seat. Henyard still claims she has the authority to make the decision, but it's all just wild at this point. Is any of this shocking? No. It's the same train wreck we've been watching for years. I've been covering this mess for a while now, and it's been clear from the start nothing's getting done. People in Dalton and Thornton Township are paying attention, but it seems like no matter what happens, the situation just gets worse. I don't know why people from all over the country are tuning into a middle-aged guy in Seattle with a real estate background to talk about this, but here we are. It's a mess. Speaking of wild stories, have you heard about the coyote incidents in Chicago? There's a whole lot going on in that city right now, from a cop pulling a coyote out of an Aldi to kids stomping on a baby coyote. It's coyote mating season and things are getting crazy. But none of that's as wild as what's going down in Thornton Township and the village of Dalton. It's a mess, plain and simple. We're in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and the clock's winding down. That's what Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle did. They showed up, but they didn't get anything done. All that effort to get a quorum, and boom, the meeting's over. Gonzalez didn't apologize for it. He made it clear, "You're not going to force us into something we don't want to do." This is straight-up politics, and whether you're on Henyard's side or not, it's clear there's massive liability on the line. Did they have a quorum? Yes. Did they officially have a meeting? Yes. Did they get anything done? No. And that's the way most of this is going to go. They might get the insurance squared away, because that's critical. Maybe a few more things will get done, but don't expect them to vote on a trustee. That's just not happening. Whatever it takes to prevent that from happening, expect it. This whole thing is a train wreck, and we're just watching it unfold. Half of the train's already crashed, and we're just waiting to see if the rest of it's going to explode or just slowly tip over. Stay tuned, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're subscribed for more. See you in the next video.